When people hurt you, when they betray your trust, mock your sincerity, or break your heart without remorse, something deep inside you begins to question fairness. You wonder, why does the world reward cruelty and ignore kindness? You stay awake, carrying wounds no one can see, replaying what they did, what they said, and how they walked away, as if your pain meant nothing. But here's what you must know. You are never there. Are moments in life when your heart feels heavy, not because of what you lost, but because of what someone did to you. You sit alone replaying every scene, every word, every moment of betrayal, wondering why people who wrong others seem to walk freely, smiling, living comfortably, while those who were genuine are left broken and unheard. It feels unfair, like justice is blind, like goodness is taken for granted. But what you don't see is that while the world may overlook your pain, divine justice never sleeps. When you are hurt, it's not just an emotional wound, it becomes a spiritual mark that the Almighty witnesses. Every tear, every sleepless night, every silent sigh, none of it escapes His knowledge. You may feel invisible to people, but you are never invisible to the one who created your heart. There is a system far beyond what human eyes can perceive, where every act of cruelty, every false word, and every wound inflicted on an innocent soul is recorded with precision. And when the time is right, the balance is restored perfectly, completely, and often silently. People mistake silence for weakness. They think if you don't fight back, you've lost. They assume your patience means they've won. But patience is not surrender. It's strategy. It's faith in a justice that works beyond human timing. The one who sees everything doesn't rush because he doesn't need to. He lets events unfold until every truth is exposed and every lie collapses under its own weight. Those who harmed you might appear to thrive for a while, but in reality, they are being given time, not freedom. Time to change, time to repent, or time to fall into the very pit they dug for you. Justice from above is not noisy. It doesn't announce itself with thunder or spectacle. It arrives quietly, often in ways you least expect. You might see the person who once hurt you suddenly struggle in areas they used to boast about. You might watch them lose peace, relationships, or opportunities, not because you wished harm upon them, but because that's how divine order works. No deed, whether good or bad, is ever lost in the wind. The world runs on laws of cause and effect, and the one who established these laws ensures that no harm remains unpaid and no kindness goes unrewarded. So when you are mistreated, don't rush to prove your innocence or expose those who wronged you. You don't need to fight every battle. The truth has a way of revealing itself, and justice has a way of finding its path, even through silence. Your focus should not be on revenge, but on growth, because while the one who hurt you is busy digging holes for others, you are being elevated through patience and resilience. Every time you choose peace over anger, your soul rises higher, and your pain turns into power. Divine justice is not just about punishment, it's also about protection. Sometimes He removes people from your life not because you lost, but because He heard conversations you didn't. He saw intentions you couldn't. The betrayal you faced might have been the very thing that saved you from a greater destruction ahead. It may have shattered your heart, but it also redirected your path towards something purer, safer, and more meaningful. And when justice finally unfolds, it doesn't just balance the scales, it transforms you. The pain you endured becomes your proof of strength. The wounds that once defined you become reminders of how deeply you were loved and protected. You realize that while people's actions wounded you, they also revealed who truly stands by you and who never did. You learn to trust the unseen, to believe that every delay has a reason and that every hardship carries a hidden mercy. So don't let the actions of others turn you bitter. Don't waste your heart seeking revenge. Leave the outcome to the one who sees both sides of every story, because the same way He saw your pain, He will also write your healing. The same way He allowed the hurt, He will allow the justice. Perfectly timed, deeply satisfying, and entirely fair. The world may sleep on what was done to you, but divine justice never does. It watches, it waits, and when the moment arrives, it delivers. Not to destroy, but to remind every soul that nothing goes unseen, and no heart breaks in vain. When pain enters your life, especially through people you trusted or loved, the first thought that crosses your mind is often, why me? You wonder if you did something wrong, if maybe you're being punished, if somehow your kindness brought this upon you. But the truth is far deeper. Pain is not always a punishment. Sometimes it's a divine test, a hidden doorway to growth, faith, and transformation. It's the process through which your soul is refined, your patience is strengthened, and your purpose is clarified. When someone hurts you, it's easy to assume that life is unfair. But pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to awaken you. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every disappointment has a lesson embedded within it, a message that could only reach you through discomfort. The ones who hurt you are not always your enemies. Sometimes they are unknowing teachers, used as instruments to pull you closer to the truth, to make you depend less on people and more on the one who never leaves. You see, if life were always smooth, if everyone treated you kindly, you would never grow. You would never learn forgiveness, patience, or emotional strength. Pain exposes what comfort hides. It teaches you who you are when everything falls apart. It reveals how deep your trust really is, not in people, not in circumstances, but in something higher that you can't see yet still believe in. When you are wronged, your test begins. The test is not about what they did, it's about how you respond. Will you let bitterness take over your heart, or will you rise above it with dignity? Will you seek revenge, or will you choose peace, trusting that justice will arrive in its time? The test is not to see how much you can suffer, but how much you can trust while suffering. The moment you realize this, your pain stops being a burden and becomes a bridge between who you were and who you are meant to be. Often, the greatest souls are tested through the greatest trials. The most compassionate hearts are usually those that have been broken many times, not because they deserved it, but because they were chosen to understand others' pain. Every hardship you face has a purpose you might not see right now. Maybe it's preparing you for a future blessing. Maybe it's protecting you from something worse. Or maybe it's purifying you from attachments that were keeping you from your destiny. Pain also teaches humility. It reminds you that control is an illusion, that no matter how hard you try to shape life according to your plans, there is a greater plan unfolding that you can't always understand. It humbles your ego, softens your heart, and teaches you empathy. Once you've been hurt deeply, you begin to understand others more. You become gentler, wiser, more aware. You stop judging so quickly because you know how it feels to be on the other side of judgment. And as time passes, you begin to see the hidden mercy in the pain. You look back and realize that the heartbreak that once broke you actually built you. The betrayal that once shattered your trust taught you discernment. The loss that once made you question everything became the very reason you turned inward and found strength you didn't know existed. What you once thought was punishment was, in fact, preparation. Pain molds you into someone who can carry more wisdom, more compassion, more faith. It strips away the illusions and leaves only truth behind. It's like fire refining gold, painful but necessary. Without it, you would remain untested, unshaped, and unready for the blessings waiting ahead. So when pain visits your life, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Ask yourself not, why me? But what is this teaching me? Because once you shift that question, everything changes. You stop seeing pain as an enemy and start seeing it as a messenger reminding you that you are being shaped, not shattered, tested, not punished, elevated, not destroyed. Every time you endure pain with patience, you pass a spiritual exam, and when you pass, you rise. You rise above what was meant to break you, and you become someone unshakable, someone who knows that pain is temporary, but the strength it builds lasts forever. Silence is often misunderstood. People see it as weakness, as surrender, as the inability to fight back. But silence, when chosen with wisdom, is one of the most powerful responses you can give to those who have wronged you. It is not a sign of defeat, it is a statement of faith. It says, I do not need to defend myself, because truth does not need noise to survive. Silence is the language of strength. It speaks volumes without uttering a single word. When someone hurts you, mocks you, or tries to bring you down, the natural reaction is to speak, to explain, to justify, or to fight. Your mind burns with thoughts of how unfairly you've been treated, and your heart aches to make them understand your side of the story. But sometimes silence is the only language that the soul can truly speak in moments of pain. It is through silence that you protect your dignity, your peace, and your connection with the one who truly sees all. The power of silence lies in its ability to expose truth without effort. When you respond to harm with anger, you lower yourself to the level of those who caused it. But when you stay silent, you rise above them. You let your character speak louder than your words ever could. Over time, people forget what was said, but they never forget how you carried yourself when others tried to pull you down. Your calm becomes your crown. There's something incredibly profound about refusing to explain yourself to those who are determined to misunderstand you. Your silence tells them that their opinion no longer has power over your peace. It shows that you trust something higher than public approval, that you trust the unseen justice that time will reveal. Because silence doesn't mean inaction. It means you've chosen a different battlefield. Instead of arguing with people, you've chosen to hand your case over to the one who judges fairly. In silence, you find clarity. When the world becomes loud with opinions and accusations, silence becomes your shield. It allows you to hear your own thoughts, to reconnect with your soul, and to remind yourself that you are not defined by what others say or do. Silence gives you the space to heal without adding more chaos. It lets the wound breathe, instead of reopening it through constant debate or justification. And then something beautiful happens. Truth begins to surface on its own. Those who once believed lies begin to see contradictions. Those who doubted you start to notice the purity in your silence. Time, patience, and consistency reveal what words never could. Your silence becomes proof of your integrity. While others destroy their own credibility through gossip and noise, you protect yours through calm and restraint. The world often underestimates quiet people, but silence is not emptiness. It's controlled energy. It's choosing not to waste your breath on those who have already decided what they want to believe. It's realizing that peace is more valuable than being right in the eyes of people who don't see truth. Silence doesn't mean you've accepted defeat. It means you've accepted wisdom. You've understood that what's meant for you cannot be taken by anyone, and what's false will eventually crumble on its own. Even nature teaches us this. The sun doesn't argue with the darkness. It simply rises and the darkness disappears. Likewise, your silence is your sunrise, your quiet elevation while others stay trapped in the shadows of noise. Let them talk, let them twist stories, let them misunderstand. Sooner or later, the truth will walk into the light. And when it does, it won't need your help to shine. The power of silence also lies in its ability to heal you from within. When you stop responding to negativity, you stop feeding it. You reclaim your energy and redirect it toward growth, peace, and faith. You begin to understand that not every battle deserves your voice. Some battles are meant to be won through calm, through grace, through letting the unseen justice handle what your words cannot. So, the next time you are tempted to speak when your heart is broken, remember this: silence doesn't mean you've lost your voice. It means you've found your strength. It means you trust the timing of truth more than the noise of today. Because the most powerful souls are not those who shout the loudest. They are the ones who remain silent, knowing that their peace is worth more than any argument. There is an unshakable law woven into the fabric of existence. The law of return. It governs everything we do, every word we speak, every intention we carry, and every action we take. What we send out comes back. Maybe not instantly, maybe not in the same form, but inevitably it returns. When someone hurts you, lies about you, or takes advantage of your kindness, it may feel like they've escaped accountability. But no one escapes the balance of life. Every action creates a ripple, and that ripple always finds its way home. The law of return is not driven by emotion or bias. It's divine justice in motion. It doesn't operate on human timing, but on perfect timing. The moment someone harms another, their own story begins to shift. The energy they put into the world, whether it's deceit, arrogance, or cruelty, is written into their destiny, waiting for the day when it will reappear before them, often when they least expect it. The one who made you cry will one day cry for something they value. The one who mocked your sincerity will one day crave the very loyalty they once dismissed. Not because you wished it upon them, but because that's how the universe restores balance. When people hurt you, it's natural to feel anger. You want to see justice, to witness them face consequences. But the law of return doesn't need your interference. It doesn't need your revenge. It works quietly, invisibly, with precision beyond human understanding. Sometimes you'll see it happen. You'll see those who wronged you lose the peace they once flaunted. They may have everything they once desired, yet feel empty inside. They may smile on the outside, but struggle in silence. That's not coincidence. It's the law of return doing its work. And sometimes you won't see it at all. Justice may unfold away from your eyes in another place, another time, or in ways you can't perceive. But just because you don't witness it doesn't mean it hasn't happened. The unseen realm keeps perfect records. No act of harm goes unnoticed, and no act of goodness goes unrewarded. The scales are always balanced, not by human hands, but by divine wisdom. The beauty of this law is that it works both ways. Just as harm returns to its sender, kindness returns to its giver. When you choose patience over anger, when you forgive instead of retaliating, when you respond to hate with grace, that goodness will come back to you multiplied. You might not realize it immediately, but it will return in the form of peace, unexpected blessings, and protection from harm you never saw coming. Your silence, your restraint, your trust in divine timing, all of it is being counted, and all of it will return to you as reward. Those who hurt you will one day understand that the pain they caused was not forgotten. Life has a way of turning lessons into mirrors. What they made others feel, they will one day feel themselves. And in that moment, they will realize that hurting someone was never power. It was weakness disguised as strength. You don't need to remind them. Life will. The law of return will. It teaches through experience what words can't explain. The most freeing part of understanding this law is that you no longer have to carry bitterness. You can let go. You can stop replaying the hurt, stop wishing for revenge, stop trying to make others see the truth. Because truth doesn't need a voice, it has its own timing. All you need to do is rise above, stay kind, and trust that everything will come full circle. You see, the law of return doesn't miss anyone. What you give is what you live. Those who send out cruelty receive chaos. Those who send out love receive peace. Those who plant lies harvest loneliness. Those who sow sincerity reap blessings. It may take time, but the cycle always completes itself. So, when people hurt you, don't curse them, pity them, because the pain they planted in others will one day bloom in their own lives. And when it does, you'll be far ahead, healed, blessed, and at peace. Let the law of return do its work. Trust the unseen process, because what leaves your life always comes back, not to break you, but to prove that justice, no matter how long it takes, never forgets a single name. Healing after being hurt is one of the hardest journeys a person can walk. Pain doesn't fade overnight, and betrayal doesn't dissolve with time alone. There are memories that replay when you least expect them, words that echo in the silence, and scars that refuse to close. But real healing begins when you stop trying to control how justice unfolds and start trusting that every wound has a divine purpose. Healing is not about forgetting what happened. It's about believing that something greater is being written beyond the pain. When someone breaks your heart, you feel like a part of you has been taken. You lose trust, not only in people, but sometimes in life itself. You begin to question whether goodness still matters, whether kindness is even worth it. But that's where faith enters. Faith whispers when logic fails. Faith reminds you that pain isn't the end. It's the beginning of renewal. It tells you that the same power that allowed the wound also holds the cure, and that your story doesn't end in the place where you were hurt. Healing through faith means understanding that pain is not random. It's a tool of transformation. You are not being punished, you are being purified. Every heartbreak is a cleansing, washing away attachments that were never meant to stay. Every disappointment strips you of illusions and brings you closer to what's real. When you trust that your pain has a higher meaning, it loses its ability to destroy you. Instead, it shapes you. It carves depth into your soul. It teaches you empathy, compassion, and strength that no easy life could ever give. Faith doesn't make pain disappear, but it changes how you carry it. Without faith, pain feels like chaos, senseless and cruel. With faith, pain becomes sacred, a process through which your spirit grows closer to peace. You start to see that those who hurt you were only messengers of lessons you needed to learn. They may have broken something in you, but through that breaking, Light entered. The walls around your heart cracked open, allowing you to understand life and yourself in ways you never did before. As you begin to trust this process, you realize that forgiveness is not weakness, it's freedom. You forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You let go not because the pain doesn't matter, but because you finally understand that holding on to it only keeps you bound to the very thing that wounded you. Healing through faith is the art of releasing what you can't control and surrendering it to the one who can turn pain into wisdom. Sometimes healing is quiet. It doesn't come through grand gestures or sudden revelations. It comes slowly through moments when you stop crying as much, when you wake up feeling lighter, when you start to smile again for no reason. Those are signs that faith is working within you, even if you can't see it. It's rebuilding your heart from the inside out, replacing despair with hope and resentment with understanding. You will also find that as you heal, you become softer, not harder. Pain no longer makes you bitter. It makes you wise. You stop seeking revenge because you realize that nothing good comes from matching darkness with darkness. Instead, you rise with grace. You start wishing peace for those who hurt you, not because you approve of what they did, but because you no longer want to carry their energy within you. That is healing. That is faith in motion. In time, you'll see why everything happened the way it did. You'll look back and understand that the people who walked away were never meant to stay. You'll thank the heartbreak that forced you to rely on faith instead of human promises. And you'll smile, not because the past didn't hurt, but because it led you to something far more precious, peace. Healing through faith doesn't mean your scars disappear. It means your scars no longer define you. They become reminders of where you've been, proof of how far you've come, and signs that no matter what broke you, you were never truly destroyed. You were rebuilt, stronger, wiser, and closer to the one who knows how to turn every wound into wisdom and every ending into a new beginning. There comes a time in every person's life when they have to redefine what victory truly means. For most, victory looks like seeing those who hurt them fail, fall, or suffer. It feels like justice to watch the tables turn, to see the arrogant brought low and the cruel face consequences. But that's not real victory. Real victory is much deeper, quieter, and more meaningful. It's not about them, it's about you. It's about what happens inside your heart after the storm, about the peace that replaces the pain and the strength that rises from the ruins. When you've been wronged, the natural instinct is to crave revenge or vindication. You want people to see what they did, to acknowledge your pain, to understand how deeply they broke you. But the truth is, those who hurt you rarely see your worth until you stop waiting for them to. The ultimate victory is not proving them wrong. It's healing so completely that their actions no longer define your happiness. It's walking away without hate in your heart, carrying peace instead of bitterness. True victory is when you can think of the person who caused you pain and feel nothing but calm. When the mention of their name no longer stings and the memories no longer hold power over your emotions, that is the moment you've won. Because while they were busy trying to harm you, you were growing, maturing, and transforming into someone stronger than they ever imagined. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You didn't just move on, you rose above. The ultimate victory is not when they fall, it's when you rise. When your life starts to blossom despite the scars they left behind. When your laughter becomes real again and your eyes reflect peace instead of pain. That's victory. The kind that can't be taken away, the kind that doesn't depend on anyone's downfall. Because the greatest revenge is happiness that no one expected you to have again. You see, the universe has a way of turning things around in silence. It doesn't announce your victories, it lets your peace speak for itself. Those who hurt you will eventually witness your glow, not because you wanted to show off, but because you refuse to let their darkness define your destiny. You learn that bitterness poisons the soul, but forgiveness purifies it. You stopped wishing for their suffering and started praying for your healing. And that shift changed everything. Victory also means realizing that what they took from you was never truly yours to begin with. They might have walked away, betrayed your trust, or tried to ruin your name, but they could never take what was divinely written for you. The moment you understand that, their power over you disappears. They no longer control your emotions, your peace, or your future. You free yourself from the prison of resentment and step into a life where you no longer need them to lose for you to win. It takes courage to reach that level of peace. It takes strength to forgive, and even greater strength to stay kind when you had every reason to become cold. But that's what makes you victorious. You didn't let pain turn you into what hurt you. You kept your heart pure in a world that tried to harden it. You continued to believe in goodness even when others gave you every reason not to. That is a victory no apology or revenge can match. And when life begins to bless you, when opportunities come, when love finds you again, when peace returns to your soul, you'll look back and realize that every heartbreak was a stepping stone. Every disappointment was redirecting you to something better. You'll understand that the pain was never punishment, it was preparation. The one who saw your tears was also writing your comeback, one silent blessing at a time. So, the next time you're tempted to wish for their downfall, remind yourself of this: your story doesn't need their failure to be beautiful. Your success doesn't depend on their regret. The ultimate victory is living free, unchained from hatred, healed from the past, and shining in peace that no one can steal. Because in the end, true victory is not when they realize what they lost, it's when you realize what you've gained: wisdom, peace, and a heart strong enough to love again.